Ashes of love. The prettiest flowers have the sharpest thorns. Let it burn. I screamed as I doused the remnants of our memories with gasoline. My heart felt heavy, a stone in my chest, as I stared at the scattered photos that once filled my home with joy. Lena was my everything, the sun in my sky, the laughter in my days, the warmth in my nights. Now she was gone, taken by the winds of change that I had not seen coming. I looked around our room, now just my room. Her presence lingered in every corner, from the framed pictures of our happiest moments to the last sweet smell of her perfume still clinging to my clothes. It was a haunting reminder of what I had lost. The cologne bottle, her favorite scent, stood like a ghost on the dresser, mocking me. I picked it up, the glass cool against my palm, and tears streamed down my face. How could she just walk away from us? Our masterpiece, a crystal heart adorned with a camellia and a dahlia, sat shattered in my hands. It was a symbol of our love, crafted with care on the day we vowed to cherish one another forever. Now it lay broken just like my heart. With one swift motion, I grabbed a pickaxe and shattered it to pieces. I watched as the shards scattered across the floor, each one a reflection of my shattered dreams. In my rage, I poured gasoline on every surface, every memory, and watched as the world we had built was engulfed in flames. I felt the heat lick at my skin, a physical manifestation of the fire inside me. Nothing mattered anymore. My heart was already charred. Lena had chosen someone else, someone she had shared laughs with, someone who danced with her under the stars while I stood in the shadows, silent and broken. I lit a cigar, my hands trembling, and threw the match to the ground. The flames erupted, consuming the memories I once held dear. I was lost in the chaos, drowning in my grief, when I took one last drag from my rolled blunt, closing my eyes, ready to let everything go. As the fire blazed, I thought I heard her voice in the distance, a desperate cry that sent shivers down my spine. It felt like a final goodbye, a distant echo of the love we once shared. In my last moments, I felt Lena's presence surround me, felt her arms pulling me away from the inferno, as if she wanted to save me from myself. Call 911. I imagined her screaming, the panic in her voice resonating deep within me. But it was too late. As my heart slowed and darkness began to envelop me, I felt her anguish. I could hear her sobs, her sorrow intertwining with the frantic cries of a woman I didn't recognize, yet somehow felt familiar. Cousin Camila, I'm so sorry. I know you wanted to surprise her with a trip to the Bahamas, the voice pleaded. In that moment, I realized the depths of my mistake. I had chosen fire over love, destruction over healing. Camila's tears rained down like an endless storm, and I felt a warmth rising within me, wrapping around my soul. I love you, Delilah, she whispered softly, her voice a balm to my wounded heart. Suddenly, the flames lost their power. The pain began to dissolve, and as I floated away from the ashes, I found a sense of peace. I realized that love, even in its absence, could transcend the physical. In that final moment, as I drifted away, I became one with the memories, both bitter and sweet. I was no longer just a girl consumed by heartache. I was the laughter, the love, the warmth of all the moments we had shared. And as I soared into the unknown, I knew that though Lena was gone from this world, the love we had would forever linger in the stars, a reminder that sometimes, even the most beautiful flowers have the sharpest thorns. As I drifted away, carried on a gentle breeze, I could still hear Camila's voice, trembling as she cradled my lifeless body. Her sobs were raw, filled with the weight of regret. It hit me like a sudden gust of wind. She had never betrayed me. All along, she was planning a surprise, an escape for us, to the place we always dreamed of visiting together. A trip to the Bahamas where we could watch the sunset on golden sands, the world fading away into nothing but the two of us. I had misunderstood everything. The photos of her with another woman, the late nights, the distance. They weren't signs of betrayal. They were part of the surprise she was planning. But in my own loneliness, in the spiral of my pain, I had let jealousy blind me. I had allowed my hurt to fester into rage. And now, as I floated further from this world, I was left with the cruel truth. "I'm sorry, Camila," I whispered into the void, my voice a mere echo of the love I had thrown away. But she couldn't hear me. She would never know that in my final moments, I had realized my mistake. I watched her, still kneeling beside my body, clutching the photograph we had taken just that morning. Her tears fell onto the picture, blurring the edges, but her face remained frozen in sorrow. The woman with her, her cousin, gently placed a hand on her shoulder, trying to comfort her. But there was nothing that could ease the pain of what she had just lost. I floated above, helpless, a silent observer to the devastation I had caused. The flames continued to roar around them, but they no longer mattered. Nothing mattered except the love I had destroyed in a moment of weakness. "I love you," I tried to say again, hoping somehow my voice could reach her. But there was no going back. As the flames consumed the remnants of our home, the memories, the life we had built together, I felt myself fading, becoming lighter, less tethered to the world. The ashes swirled beneath me, carried by the wind like the remnants of a life cut short too soon. My heart ached, not with anger anymore, but with the weight of a love that had been misunderstood, a love that had burned too bright, too fast. Camila's voice was the last thing I heard before everything went silent. "I'll never forget you, Delilah. You'll always be my one and only." With that, I let go. I became part of the wind, part of the ashes, scattered across the world. A reminder of love lost, and the dangers of letting fear and doubt destroy what was once beautiful. And though I was gone, I hoped somehow that Camila would find peace, that she would one day remember the good we had shared, and forgive herself, forgive me, for the tragedy we had unknowingly created together. As I drifted further into the void, my consciousness fading into the ether, I couldn't escape the image of Camila, her tear-streaked face etched into my soul. I longed to reach out, to tell her I was sorry, that I had let my own insecurities blind me to the truth of her love. But I knew I couldn't. Still, something kept me tethered, as if I weren't quite ready to leave her behind. I watched as Camila knelt beside my body, holding the photo album tightly against her chest. The flames raged around her, but she seemed unfazed, lost in her grief. Her cousin stood at a distance, watching with sadness in her eyes, but unable to comfort her. Camila's sobs filled the air, each one a reminder of the love we had shared, the promises we had made, and the future we would never have. In that moment, something shifted. I felt a warmth that wasn't from the fire but from within. A surge of love so pure and overwhelming washed over me. I hadn't left yet. I couldn't, not without giving her one last gift. With all my will, I focused on Camila, willing her to feel my presence, to know that despite my mistakes, my love for her was still as strong as ever. The air around her seemed to calm, the flames softening as if responding to this final act of love. Then, as though she sensed me, Camila's sobs quieted. She looked up, her eyes scanning the room, searching. "Delilah," she whispered into the stillness, her voice trembling with hope and disbelief. I couldn't speak, but I wanted her to know I was there. I wanted her to feel it, the love that would always remain, no matter how much time passed. A gentle breeze, impossible in the heat of the flames, swept through the room, caressing her cheek like the touch of a lover's hand. Her eyes widened, a tear slipping down her face. "I love you," I thought, hoping with all my heart that she could hear me. And for a brief moment it seemed as if she did. Her lips trembled and she smiled through the tears. It wasn't a smile of joy but one of understanding, a sad acceptance that though I was gone, the bond between us was eternal. "I love you too, Delilah," she whispered, her voice breaking but her heart somehow lighter. As she spoke those words, I felt a weight lift from my soul. The pain, the anger, the regret, they all melted away, leaving only love. I realized that while I was gone, love itself didn't die. It lingered in memories, in the spaces between heartbeats, in the small moments of connection we had shared. And that love would stay with Camila, guiding her, comforting her, just as it had once comforted me. Slowly, I felt myself dissolving, becoming part of the wind, part of the world that would carry our story forward. My last sight was of Camila, sitting in the ashes, her face turned toward the open sky, as if waiting for a sign. And then, in the softest whisper carried by the breeze, I left her with one final promise. I'll always be with you. As I became one with the wind, I knew that Camila would carry our love with her, even in the quiet moments of her life. It would be there, in the warmth of a sunset, in the laughter of a friend, in the gentle touch of the world around her. And though I was gone, I would never truly leave. My love would be her constant companion, a reminder that even in the ashes, something beautiful could bloom again.